socialism is the highway towards the communism. So ODM is on the highway towards that route. On communism, can the people of Kenya, the masses of the masses in this country, be in charge on the means of the production? We talk on the means of the production. Let me take a good example of maybe agriculture. Who is in charge of agricultural product? After having the harvest from the farms, our grains are taken to the silos. Who is in charge doing the sales here? This is where we talk now, after the production. So can the people of this country, let me take an example of Trans Nzoia. Can Trans Nzoia citizens be able to negotiate and decide on the price of the grains that they are taking to the market? Yes. So that is me. Yeah.
That's how long your introduction is.
No, I was giving a background check. I'm born from Homa Bay County, Ndewa, a place called Kanyamwako Sewe, where the great chief Gormaya came from.
You said the great chief Gormaya.
Yeah,
okay, yeah, go ahead.
The great chief came from, but today I'm in Nairobi. This is where I'm doing my politics and my businesses. And my politics is from Karen Ward, that is Langata constituency, in Nairobi County.
Okay, so if you talk about Karen Ward, that means there is something that you're projecting in 2027 elections.
Not really. I don't want to talk about the 2027 today. Today, my main target, my main purpose is to have the ODM party having its vibrancy, have the ODM party build. There's a question that I think someone, I think Perry asked me off the camera, that can the party survive maybe without the party leader? So someone like me and other youth who believes in this party be beyond Raila Odinga, because I remember in our last NGC, National Governing Council at Bomas, Raila Odinga instructed us and told us that we need to build the party beyond Raila Odinga era. I'm among the few people who have held into this idea that we can build this party beyond Raila Odinga. And that's why we are trying to build a party based on ideology. That's why when I was giving the introduction, I touched large on the background, check the ideology. That's where we need to build it. I mean, I'll be about the strategy, some of the party leadership and so on. Can we build this political party beyond Raila Odinga era? And we have the party that is going to live the next 40, 60 years or 100 years. Because today it is 20 years old years. But can we have another 20 years on top, another 40 years on top of it? This one can only be achieved when this party is going to be built on ideology. Again, with our generation, the one we have, the Gen Z, the youths, these people may not be subscribing or taking the idea from an individual, but they want to join a party on what is that party offering. If we bring Raila Odinga, or let me use Raila Odinga maybe and Rice William Ruto from UDA, if you bring them, these are individuals. They may be having individual, I don't know how I can put it, principles. But if we have a party built institutionally, and we agree that this is the idea, these are the principles that we believe in and we are pursuing, I think a large number of people will find it very easy to reason with this party, join it.
But we can't run away from the fatherhood, because if we're talking about ODM, we have to talk about Raila Odinga. If we're talking about UDA, we have to talk about the likes of the President William Samoei Ruto.
We normally say Raila is ODM and ODM is Raila.
I'll agree with you, but again, you must also agree with me that during the AUC campaign, Raila Odinga seized the leadership of the ODM party. It was led by Professor Nyang' Nyong'o at acting capacity. That is one. Second, I'm agreeing with you, Alan. I'm agreeing with you. Raila Odinga is the champion of the ODM ideology. He's the flag bearer of this idea. We must agree. Because he's the one who's there at the limelight.
That's true.
Same to maybe UDA. It is William Ruto, then when he was campaigning, he was the one who was having the clear definition of the Asla thing on his team. Same to ODM now. This is a vision bearer of the party. We must agree.
Sure.
But the vision bearer have also been making other people behind him. We have other leaders in the ODM. So there are those who have been nurtured for quite a good time in this party. And we must also think, that's why I've touched on having post Raila Odinga era. Can the party be here in the next other 100 years, 60 or 40 years? So we must have all these things in a mix with the young people. How are we going to approach them? So we have the vision bearer here, yes, pushing the idea, is the flag bearer, is the torch bearer, yes, but we also have the idea of the party and identity.
Very well said. In that light, you have said he's the vision bearer, ideologies, a lot of good things you said about ODM. So now, let me ask you, if he's a vision bearer, then why is there so much grumbling within ODM? Why is there so much antagonism against the likes of Babu Wino, Sifuna? I saw MP from Makadara, George Aladwa, telling Sifuna his days are numbered, simply because Sifuna had differences with people who were supporting the handshake and the governance of President Ruto, in such a way that Sifuna is the SG, but now he's being bound to an extent that he cannot critique anything because they feel you are going against Raila Odinga, who's the party leader, and the party leader has had a handshake with the government. So is there really democracy in ODM, as you want to put it? In fact, in short, can anyone be able to critique or say anything against the party leader?
Now that's good. Not really ODM, but against Raila Odinga.
Can anyone really tell Baba this is wrong?
Yeah, sure. Let me start with the one for Babu Wino. We have a very clear, the D in ODM is democracy. And Babu Wino is a member of ODM party, is a life member. Babu Wino, nobody is antagonizing him within the party structure. We must agree, and Babu himself have said it severally again and again, that this thing is not being given. Raila Odinga, nobody gave him. We remember Raila Odinga at some point during the ford even went ahead and disrupted his own father's rally. So Babu Wino is just doing rightfully what he needs to do. Nobody's going to bring him to the space and tell you, now take the mantle. Here nobody's giving you it on a silver platter. Right? His Excellency, no, Babu Wino is just doing the right thing, he's fighting for his space, but let him do his things. And if he gets the mantle of the ODM to lead it, well and good. But again, we may disagree with him. You can't plan to inherit someone's wife while he's still living.
But is it that he wants to inherit the seat?
No, Baba is still there. Another thing, another thing, in an own state, I'm from Amalu, in an own state, where we have bulls, we always have only one bull. We can't have two. So the young bulls need to wait until the old bull retires off from the yard. So the bull is still here, so we can't have two bulls. That is true.
We're not talking about ODM leadership. We have even spoken with the government partnership, because Sifuna has several.
No, I was answering the Babu side. Okay. I'm coming to SG. So that is it. So Babu Wino is doing what he's supposed to do. He's doing it right. Because again, if this other bull will leave, then we'll have another one that has been preparing for some more time.
So you say there's one bull?
So we have one bull.
For now, we still have one bull. That is Raila Odinga.
We have one kingpin. We can't have two kingpins. We can't have two party leaders. No, lazima ikuwe tu moja. They can't be two. They can't be three. That is one. On SG Sifuna. During the AUC campaigns, blah blah and so on, we had divergent opinions. Then we were not having a signed memorandum with the, not even government, but the UDA party. The signed memorandum is between the parties, not government and opposition.
Not government and
and opposition.
Which party makes the government?
The party that makes the government is UDA.
So when you said the UDA party and not
It's
the government,
it's not the
what is
government.
the difference?
Utanichanganya. So Perry, when Baba was on the AUC campaign, we had two camps. I'll put it that way. We had two camps. We had a camp that was feeling that already Mzee is existing
within ODM.
Within the ODM. Within the ODM.
Okay.
There's that. Those people are feeling that we, the party, must remain with our identity as a people's party.
Okay.
That they said where we have the SG, Sifuna. And then we have another that was feeling that this thing went in the government. But again, then we are not having any signed memorandum with the government of the day. So SG Sifuna was doing what his role states as the SG of the party. He's the spokesperson of the party. If you talk about Aladwa, it's just Nairobi chairperson. It's not in any capacity to talk on behalf of the ODM party.
To speak on behalf of ODM.
No, it's not in that capacity. It's SG Sifuna. We only have one spokesperson of the party and the party leader. Those are the only people who can issue official communication of the party. So SG, all through, have been giving official communications and positions of the party. And again, besides that, the party ODM has identity. And SG is one of the leadership that holds the party identity on iBrick. So SG Sifuna have been doing that diligently. And then again, it was not only Sifuna. The position of this Sifuna then was also the same position of the acting party leader Anyang' Nyong'o then. It was the same position that James Orengo was having there. It was the same position that Caleb Amisi was having there. So why is it always on this Sifuna? This is coming out very clear because he's the spokesperson of the party. So it's always on the media, it's always on the microphones, explaining this to the people that ODM as a party have its identity as a pro-people party. And again, this is a party that was formed out of the struggle. We all know how this party was formed. Again, on the same, when I talk about maybe the camps which were there, before we come to the signings that happened in the party. The camps which were there are those who are feeling then before we signed official memorandum with the UDA party. In fact, that when the signing was being done, it was not Rais Ruto, but it was the UDA party leader and the ODM party leader. If you even check the flags which were there, it was having the UDA flag and the ODM flag this other side. So it was a party. It was a party agreement.
But the UDA party leader is the president.
Yes.
So do we
and the ODM party leader is the official opposition. Should be the official.
ODM is no longer opposition. We just know it is a political party.
But let me answer the opposition part of it. In our 2010 constitution, jameni, tusome kitabu. In our 2010 constitution,
yes,
we don't have anything called opposition in this country. We have minority and the majority.
Yes.
And then we have institutions that need to check each other.
Yes.
If we have the executive arm of government need to be checked by the legislature. And then the judiciary need to play their role properly. So first,
the three
ODM
arms of the government
in our constitution. So the ODM party is a super minority party among other affiliates in Azimio.
However, yes.
Any party is formed purpose to capture political power.
Yes, true.
ODM was formed for that purpose. We are not an NGO formation to be outside here always. We have formed purpose that we want this political power to control the state machineries and state power. That is one.
So thank you for saying you are part of an Azimio coalition.
Exactly.
However, and within the coalition, you have your agreements.
Little brothers.
No, if I may quote, I remember the party leader for PLP now, formerly in Kenya, Martha Karua. Yes, you can just say what you want to say. I remember she said, we have to.
We said we're talking about leadership.
Yes.
About leadership.
And in terms of appropriation,
and whatever she's mentioning is still okay.
In fact, your
coalition
partners in Azimio, if I recall very directly, they said number one, ODM is a bully. Because even when it comes to distribution of the seats within their house, both Senate and Parliament. In fact, when we say Parliament, meaning both houses, ODM has bullied their coalition partners. That is number one. Number two, when he's talking about ODM signing an agreement, you are part of a coalition, and you had your agreements in coalition. Yet you went and formed again an agreement with another political, the ruling governing party. So does ODM really have the interests of Mwananchi, or does ODM have the interests of selfish, in fact, interests about themselves? Because those are very selfish.
Before you answer that, we add on this. In fact, on whatever she has just said, Kenyans are completely mad and angry with Baba and friends. Because no one knew that the handshake will happen. And the way it happened at a very, very wrong time when Kenyans needed someone who can stand with them and hold their hand.
Yes.
And it's like a betrayal to Kenyans. Like, Baba, you know whatever is happening. You know the slogan that is outside here. We don't want to mention that slogan. Then Baba, instead of coming for the people, after everyone supporting for the AU seat, sorry that he failed. But
Mzee pulled out from
okay, so Mzee pulled out. Okay.
Mzee never lost.
He pulled out.
Mzee withdrew.
Okay, after withdrawing, he came back. And us Kenyans thought like, now this is the time for Baba to stand strong for the Kenyans and save this nation to the other end. But now the handshake happened. So, as you say, whatever you're saying, adding on whatever she said, kindly bring us to the light, like what really happened in between here. Because all you're doing, you're trying to defend everything. You're not even trying. You're defending. You're on defensive.
I am advancing the party position. Alan, I'm from ODM party. When a young brother is complaining that they are being bullied on the house leadership, we all know that Kalonzo Musyoka, that is the Wiper Party, he had I think 25. And if you check the House leadership, his party members are in the leadership and committees of the House. If I'm not lying, you can check.
That's true, they're there.
Eugene has 5. 5.
Dap Kenya.
Dap Kenya's 5.
Yeah.
So 5 sour. Some of them are in the committee. Sarah said that he was crying that he was removed from a committee. But again, he's put in another committee.
But he was crying, and he really mentioned he's in a committee where he has a position, but he can't use his influence to do anything. So that is like being given
to be seen,
to be seen, but you cannot be heard.
Number
so
3.
That means he cannot influence anything at all.
Yes.
Whenever that position is needed somewhere, he will go there to be seen. But at least he can't speak of
let's
himself.
allow Jared
To explain.
to expound. his
And then
points.
it is good that the 3 at least were left a key too. At least they brought numbers that could be given leadership in the House.
They brought
But the one you mentioned, give us an example.
they brought numbers. So it's about numbers and
Numbers,
not
exactly.
the influence.
Of course.
Not the
No,
influence.
influence must be there.
No,
Numbers.
let's just fill the seats.
Yeah, no, not
Bro, there is what we call traction. There is what we call.
Zimaliza na pele, then
Ngoja
you
kwanza,
can-
Let him
Okay,
just
sir.
finish.
I will forget what I'm
Zitaenda.
Just
Zitaenda.
finish.
Umeniambia swali hapo karibu 10.
Let Jared
So
finish.
peli,
okay,
in fact
okay.
ukatumia ya PLP party leader. Pale alikuwa anataka leadership pale kwa house. Tupe nani? Na ana bunge hata moja. Yeah, tuzidanganya.
MCA?
So to MCA I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sidhani kama kuna.
You people, that's why people say
Yeah, that
ODM
is
is a
one.
bully.
That is one, not a bully. So
Yeah.
the first umesema vizuri that the first is the numbers that we bring in the house.
Yeah.
And we from ODM party, I'm here, I'm not defending ODM, but I must advance, protect this party, and also defend it both in private and even in public,
Okay.
as has been it here. Right?
As you're doing
That
it
is
here
what,
now.
that's what I'm
So
doing.
that okay.
That is
On
what.
the defense.
But I must also put things clear besides defending it.
Okay.
I must
Okay,
set
fine,
this everything
clarify.
straight.
yeah,
Yeah.
now
That is
the
what.
word is clarified.
Clarifications,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think unajua amenichanganya.
No, I get you. I had said that,
Yes,
and
of
you
course,
are
yes,
talking
yeah.
about signing a coalition.
Yeah, the standing of the
Yes,
coalition.
yes,
Thank you.
yes.
On the standing of the coalitions, I'm going to agree with you that you are going to agree with me that immediately we lost. I'll say that the 2022 election. You remember some of our brothers, UDM and other parties, jumped to the
So
front.
now
the other side.
ODM can
No.
say
Acha
we
nimalize.
lost.
Acha nimalize.
Oh.
Acha nimalize. At the court. At the
Oh,
court.
at the court.
At the
So
court.
you lost at the court.
At the court. When
Not
they
at
said
the
to support,
ballot.
no, we won at the ballot.
Okay, you lost at the court.
At the court.
Okay.
So we remember our brothers. Some of our brothers jumped the floor.
It's okay.
We never lost the ballot. We never lost the ballot. We won.
You just
They
lost
won
at
at
the
the
court.
ballot, they lost at the court.
At the court,
okay.
they said they used some terms that. So we remember that immediately after the court
Yeah.
throwing out our petition, some of our brothers jumped the floor
ship.
the other side and left at this other side because they felt that it was done with us.
Okay.
And another thing that you must also agree, ladies and gentlemen, is that this party that we want to now crucify, that maybe at some point failed Kenyans during the Gen Z protest. You people must remember that 2023 we were on the street. 2023, before 2023, 2021, 2020, we are on the street. So we have been on the street. ODM was made out of.
2020 there was COVID.
There was COVID, no.
No one was protesting.
No, before
We
2020.
were protesting in our homes.
So ODM as a political party first, before I come to your question, Alan, has been on the street. And that is what some of us, during the 2022 campaign, it was even being used against us. Watu kunua reli, watu kurusha mawe. Because we have been on the street
All manner
for
of
the
people.
people.
Yeah.
For the people, not for us. That is one. Second, on the signing of the MOU, that you must agree, it was in fact not even a handshake, it is signed MOU. We must have a country to protect. We only have one Kenya. We can't go the Congo way. We can't go the Sudan way. We can't be Somalia. We must be Kenya. We are the big brother here in East Africa. The stabilized Kenya is stabilized East Africa. We must agree. That is the one. When power was poured to the street on June 25th, before June 25th, this thing has been building up. In fact, from the 2023 financial year, that 2023 financial year, that ODM as a political party stood against, if you people can remember. And then the 2022 financial year came, then the Gen Zs built it up from where ODM left it. So
the Gen Zs built from ODM.
from the ODM protest. The DNA that came from
wasn't it initiated from Wananchi themselves? And the
And
whole protest was
what I mean
against the finance
What
bill.
I mean, 2023 we had a finance bill that ODM protested against. That was very oppressive. And then I want to talk about the power being, when you are telling me about when Wananchi felt that we betrayed them. That's the part I'm coming to. I think it's very important for us to get it right here. We never betrayed Kenyans. We have remained for Kenyans. We have remained for Kenyans. And these are party, as I'll put it, even on the party leader out of maybe this equation, these are party that has always been in the forefront for the better Kenya. I've mentioned some of the countries which are so destabilized politically, and we can't do a thing against or about it. When the power was put to the street, we had three options. The Gen Zs were disorganized, and we must agree. Well, they were leaderless. We were leaderless. Who was going to take power and lead it? Nobody was a leader there. That is one. Second, we remember some of my peers. I was on the street. My peers, alikuwa naitwa Alisa sana. If I can't remember the name. Said, Baba ka nyumbani, umefanya kutosha. Na Baba aka-endorse. Young people carry the struggle on. This is a generational struggle. Mzee and his comrades that they have been stuck. We are not going to blame 80 years old gentleman who have dedicated his life for this country for the quite long time, with the scars of the liberation of the struggle, walking with handkerchief every day, wiping the tears, not only tears, but the struggle that you have seen through with his comrades. That is one. Second, we must agree. Second, we are not. I'm very young today to blame Raila Odinga for the message that we are seeing today. These freedoms we are having, the constitution and everything, it did and have done its part perfectly. For me, ODM as a party is not going to be crucified for betraying Kenyans. We have to do what is right for this country. We couldn't allow Kenya to be a military state. That was the only option. Raila Odinga is a statesman. So mnataka Raila ingie pale nyuma ya Yendambewa, how do we call it? Yes. So Raila Odinga Yendambewa back door. Like through a coup. No. Raila Odinga couldn't get into power through like a coup, like something. We had a sitting president who had at the oath. You get. That is true. So we couldn't go the military way.
Can I take you back some?
And then we couldn't go through a coup, something like a coup thing, like they come and destroy Raila Odinga for that.
So in short, which route did you people choose?
The route that we chose for us to have a stabilized country. With the government which is there, we could find a way. Baba been telling us that, can we fix this country from within?
So you felt the Gen Z protests were going to destabilize the country?
I'm a Gen Z. I wasn't the protest. They were leaderless. What are they going to do? Who was going to occupy that office?
You felt they were going to destabilize.
Already the country was going. What was going to destabilize the country if it could have gone the military way?
There's the feeling that probably ODM took advantage because people felt that Raila Odinga for once saw people organized marching without him being there, on the front, and somehow now he had to capture attention and take advantage of this.
In fact, this has been pinned to make appointment of us donating some 5 CSs to the government.
Donating.
Yeah, donating. When you donated your birthday.
Okay.
I like the even the choice of his phone that he's using over here is completely let me not use this
but
word.
Now let us
we unpack these things here today.
Okay, but you can say it on a jocular manner, and I get it. You say you donated, but they are busy earning our taxes.
So when
now that's the thing.
The thing is,
and he's simply trying to say,
what I'm saying,
he's simply trying to say the government was not much enough capable of doing this, so they had to come to us to give them who can help them do it.
Exactly.
Remember you saying that.
So the thing
remember you saying
the thing when I was saying about donation, this was out of the NADCO conversation.
Thank you.
Which was led by Stephen Musyoka.
Because the very Stephen Musyoka, who's the party leader for Wiper,
yes.
I remember Kalonzo saying, us telling Raila that him having an MOU with the government is a betrayal to Kenyans. And when Raila was signing the MOU with the Ruto, he cited the NADCO report.
Yes.
And this NADCO report was birthed from Azimio coalition,
Yes.
not ODM as an individual party. However, ODM goes to sign an MOU with the government with a report from a coalition. So how? When you're signing the MOU with the government, where were the other partners
that were involved in
Azimio coalition?
But the partners, okay,
because they've said it's a betrayal. Martha Karua strongly condemned it, you see.
And
people say she left Azimio, but she left Azimio verbally.
Yeah.
She has not left it in deed. Or am I stand to be corrected?
Martha have been living, I think, more than 10 times.
living
and living. I don't know why, living and living.
No, you should put it right
so,
for us here.
I have seen statements being made by your coalition partners. I want to call them former. Your coalition partners. So how is it that as a coalition, which was Azimio, you go to Bomas, ask views of Wananchi, and then there's the NADCO report. And then you as an individual party take this report, run with it, and go and make an agreement with somebody else without consultation of your coalition.
Your coalition.
This is just
and you take just advantage of it and use it as your own, yet it was not backed by ODM as a party.
Now, you people want to roast ODM here. ODM as a party, it's just agitating.
We are putting ODM to accountability.
Exactly.
And he said he's here to make things straight.
Communicate, Cindy.
Yes.
As converse.
No, we are conversing as you communicate. Yes,
Now, ODM as a party, I think NADCO report was started to be implemented long ago. So we have been just the state has been very slow on the implementation of this report. That is one. Second, the NADCO report itself was generated from Bomas, and over and over again we've been quoting the chair. It was Imani Shungwa and Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. We must agree that our small brothers in the coalition.
They are small.
You call them small brothers.
Okay, you are small brothers.
Okay.
Our small brothers in the coalition. Some of them felt.
You don't even see them as partners. You see them as
small brothers.
They are partners in the coalition.
So
our partners.
No. He goes back to remember when he said ODM is democratic. Now, when you use the word our small brothers, that means the big brother has all the say. He can do whatever he wants, just the way he did with the NADCO report. The coalition not involved in whatever. Let me go sign all these things. I'll just go bully these small brothers and sisters to do whatever.
And they will do whatever.
Yeah, they will do whatever I want.
No.
And that is why people are saying. No, I'm not misquoting you. I'm just using your own words.
Let me clarify this.
I'm just using your own words. And that's why Kenyans say there was a betrayal somewhere.
Let him clarify.
Clarify to Kenyans.
Let me clarify this.
Yeah?
Let me clarify this. When I say small brothers, it's not the meaning. That is first. I think this always comes with the numbers that you brought on the table.
You still demeaning it, bro.
I'm explaining it. I'm not justifying why I'm calling it small brothers. But we are partners.
Okay.
We are partners. And we have not betrayed our coalition partners. Again, if you're very keen, a number again and again, they have worked out. Today they're working with Wamunyoro, that is the second deputy president of Kenya, and other people. And we never questioned their working relationship with their new friends. That is one. Second, when maybe they felt dissatisfied, but again, on the House leadership, Stephen Kalonzo's party, Eugene Wamalwa's MPs are still engaged and involved in the committees and the House leadership of the House as the minority party in the House. There's Zimio. But now when we come to the NADCO report implementation, that's where tukitaja pale tukisema that the donation, though only cut short kidogo on the donation. I think we remember then when Dr. William Samuel Ruto had his first cabinet. No, he didn't appoint those who were qualified. He was giving them the political cronies, the merits. It was not on the merit, but it was a reward. So I think at some point the president had to relook on its appointments. And I think when he extended the olive branch and consulted the statesman Raila Odinga on what to be done, he gave him technocrats and professionals to run the ministry that maybe at that point things were not okay. Like I think today we are waiting to see the 2025-2026 finance bill that is being drawn by Mbadi. So we want to see maybe the difference. Even me as a ODM member, a young Kenyan, I'm also waiting to see the difference that is going to come from the new leadership that we are having today, because we are in the broad-based arrangement government where the minority have been picked to help the majority run the government. But again, what we're having today is not we are not the only country having it. At some point, you agree with me or may disagree with me that before I become a member of ODM party, before that other person becomes a member of Wiper, UDA or Jubilee, I am a Kenyan. And if a state calls me to go serve it, why must I bow it out? Just like a soldier, why must I bow out from serving my state? We must remain patriotic. The party position, the party ideology can't be superior over statesmanship and patriotism.
Thank you very much. There's something you said, I want to get you back to that. You said previously President Ruto had rewarded people for positions.
Yeah, it is a reward.
The people that you so-called technocrats that Raila Odinga gave to Ruto, wasn't he equally rewarding his own friends? And don't we have Governor, former Oparanya, former Governor Kakamega, Hassan Joho, former Governor, his own people, right? And these are people during his campaign, he had actually, even before he got power, he had also appointed them and given them positions. You have Mbadi and former nominated MP, Sure. So, in fact, all the people that Raila Odinga has given to William Ruto are all the rewards. Donated. According to him. Yes. Okay, the ones you have donated by your words. Hasn't he just rewarded his own? And even the latest nominations, look at the NTSA chair. You have former MP Mwashetani. That was somebody who was with William Ruto during his campaign. So, what has changed? Because Ruto is still rewarding his friends, and Raila Odinga has donated the rewards from his friends. So, what's changed?
Before you answer that, what changed with the leadership, and what has changed in those ministries?
Thank you. First, we're going to agree that even in the political space, we are professionals and we are technocrats. John Mbadi is a CPA, that's a qualified CPA. And let me use John Mbadi for a good example, and maybe CS alias Sanjo and Opanya, the three. Though we also have a school from Turkana.
I know the lady, yes. I know I know Wanda is in energy. And you still have power outages?
Yeah. So, when we talk about us having these people going to government, first, this was a government in waiting. We must agree that Raila Odinga made a government in waiting in 2022 before we had the oath, or before the court dismissed our petition, because we all know we won the election. We still hold it so dear to us. So then Joho was to be the Minister of Land. If people can remember, it was unveiled. John Mbadi was to be the Minister of Finance then in our government that we were to form. That's the government we're waiting. Let me talk about the government waiting that we were to form. Oparanya, I can't remember his position, but John Mbadi was told not even to vie for a governor in Omabeka. And he stepped down for that, and he waited. And then Oparanya, Joe, they had finished their term. But besides that, I think at some point the country need not only seasoned but experienced statesmen to help us stabilize. At that point, we needed those who are experienced to help us stabilize the country. I'll tell you that the country was shaken. With the press that we have on this street, not only in Nairobi but those all over the country, it was shaken to the core. And we could see that day when President William Ruto was giving his press briefing, pale akiwa State House, akituita majambazi na hizo majina zote yenye labda siwezi nikataja pale leo. The country and the state was shaken to the core. So at that point when Raila Odinga and ODM party were donating maybe these 5 technocrats to help us stabilize the country, have a Kenya back, we gave not only qualified but also experienced statesmen who could hold country back to its position. There's a question of Baxter on the reward one.
Talked about the rewarding, the same thing.
The same thing, yeah.
And then I asked him, I did a question. What difference has
that
made in these ministries? Because Kenya is still where it was. Today I heard that Trump has put 10% tariffs on Kenyan products that are going to the US. And Mbadi himself said that one doesn't. Is it Mbadi who? I'm getting this right. I'll get this right. That doesn't affect the Kenyan shilling at any point.
We wait to see how the
And
dollar and the
remember,
dollar-
Mbadi is a CPA, qualified CPA.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
So we wait to see
Certified.
A certified
Certified.
CPA.
Certified.
Yeah, certified.
These are certified
Certified public
CPA.
accountants.
Ndio hiyo.
I'm telling you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So what change has been there?
The change today, I think it will be. I think it will be very premature today. Maybe to have a realistic into it. But on my end, as a young person, a Kenyan, Raila Odinga and the party position, we were told that we give them a chance to serve Kenya in the next 2 years, 2026, 2027. We'll see if they shall not have delivered. We need to see the report card, their scorecard. You were given a chance to be there. What did you do?
Can I cut you short?
Second, before 2027, Melissa say a change now.
Yeah.
My dear states
From
people,
last year.
from last year.
Yeah.
My dear states people, we must agree that on my end, at a personal level, we must agree that a little, or I'll say that the change cannot be felt yet. I'll tell you that. The economy is still burning good.
The change cannot be felt by their leadership.
The change
However,
cannot
the
be felt
effects of
But
our leadership, Mwananchi
It's
is
really
feeling
being
it.
felt.
yet. It's being
In
felt.
fact,
Yes.
it is,
No matter-
it is
no matter-
getting worse. So how is it that we put you in a seat, we cannot feel the change, however, we continue to hurt,
Another thing.
and we continue to be taxed?
No, we are
Another
not
thing.
feeling the positive change,
Yeah.
but we are feeling the negative change is pressuring us each
Badi
and every
spoke
day.
passionately about taxes, and I remember even during his interview in Parliament, he spoke passionately about taxes.
Yeah.
And yet, what has changed about us being taxed? And with the taxes we are delivering to KRA, people are still complaining of harassment.
You see,
So what happened to service
You
delivery?
see, first, it's so unfortunate for me to be here to defend a government that we never put in place. This government were given by Kenyans. And let
You
me
talk
put that
about
way.
the donations. as
I'm
you
talking about
put it.
donation, but I'm not going to talk about a donation in a quarter, but they are serving the interest of all Kenyans and the government of the day.
And that's why we
That
asked
is what.
that's why we
So-
asked that
yes, for
question.
the
That's
change.
why we asked the
Yeah,
change
see,
question
you-
is what we really want to know.
See,
You
but-
said you donated the qualified,
Yes.
and you gave us a certified CPA
Yes.
to take care things to do with finances.
Yeah.
Yes, to take care of things of finances. So we expected the moment the certified guy who has all that experience, as you said, the once he comes in, he has to make everything right with him.
No,
Because
it's a
that-
period. It is a period, Alan. Alan,
So-
when Kibaki came in, no, change cannot happen in a day. This
Yes,
thing is a
but that is what
process.
he promised. That is what he
No,
promised.
no,
That's
people,
what he
let me
promised.
talk. No, you people now are going to overwhelm me if I'm not keen. If I become soft, I'm not talk here.
No.
Change cannot be felt in a day.
Okay, we're
Change
not talking about
is
a day, Jared.
change is a process.
Jared,
That is one.
Jared, look
In
at
fact,
this.
John Mbadi, I've not even presented the first budget that is serving us
That is
there.
But even-
So can we wait?
But even in that first budget, is it recently I heard our president say, talk about that the Gen Z rejected the first budget, but he has found a way to bring the very things that he's so sure that those things will go.
Living
I'm not talking about the
leaving
president.
alone the donations, yeah.
Mhm.
Let me get back to what you're talking about, ideologies and everything.
Mm.
For a long time, most Kenyans have associated Raila Odinga with fighting for the rights of Mwananchi
Sure.
and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
You've said you were in the streets and everything.
Yeah.
After the handshake has happened, the broad-based government,
Mm.
we are still seeing abductions going on. We are still seeing a variety of all ill manner of things happening.
Mm.
So, yet the very man who used to speak against these things, because you said Baba is a statesman. So when the statesman comes in play, we expect a stop
At all
to
these
all
things.
these things.
Yeah.
We are still seeing a lot of femicide cases. We are still seeing abductions happening. Young people are still disappearing left, right, and center. Why hasn't there been a stop to all this madness?
If you check the 10-point
The NADCO
broad-based-
report.
No. I'm talking about the DBG now.
Right.
If you check, it was on the NADCO report, but on the implementation of the broad-based government signed MOU,
Yeah.
the 10 points, that's one of the points that Baba Raila Odinga have stressed on not once, not twice. Raila can only advise. He may not act. He's not having the state powers to act to some of these things. That is one. From the party position where we are. Yeah, how many times have we talked about and advised by the president of the day to stop the abduction? President again, akiwa pale Sagana juzi amesema that the abduction will not be there. So we Kenyans, from my end, we have been having talking president. Yes, it's a good talker. So
A good
we
promiser.
are waiting, and we are seeing, we are watching to see if truly is going to live by his words to stop not only the abduction but even the unnecessary police brutality that we may be meeting on the streets. Because I'm pretty sure even after the Gen Z protests, we've been having a number of the protests in the city. Some of them have been cut
But
off.
that is what we are asking.
You get. So, maybe you want to put Raila Odinga on a task, but he's not the commander-in-chief. He can't call the...
But
the
now the commander-in-chief
it.
says, I reached out to him because I realized we need to hold hands to be able to do this work, yeah?
So Raila Odinga can advise us...
Where is even the accountability of the people who have been involved in the abductions? Where are the... All we're just seeing is cases which are really being prolonged. Where are the prosecutions?
I am from MDD. Also, there's a movement within the ODM party, and there's a matter that even the past weeks we addressed again. Not even after this, maybe we'll even address it again. That these things must come to stop, to an end.
Why are they even happening in the first place?
That's the first thing. Why must we abduct young people? And why must we kill young people?
That's
and why must they
because
be
you
met
say
by
Raila
the
Odinga fought for this constitution. That I will not take
people
away. That I will
Raila
not take
Odinga
away
so on.
from
Why must we
him.
discuss Raila Odinga? Year in, year out, we are going to talk Raila Odinga. That is one. Peri kidogo tu. Raila Odinga presented his candidature for this country 5 times. But the Kenyan people and the judiciary and some state, let me put it, some institutions have always robbed him off or turned his candidature off. And then after the government of the state, not the government, but some institutions giving Kenyans a government, they come back to blame it on Raila Odinga. We are here again now, instead of discussing Ruto, who is the commander-in-chief, who is the head of government, who is the head of the state. We are discussing Raila Odinga, statesman. Instead of discussing the person who is in charge of this thing. But is not in charge.
Thank you for it, and I'm glad because you said you're a youth league.
Yes.
I appreciate the passion. I can
That
see
you
the
have.
passion. I really like that passion. And you see, in leadership, because we told you we were going to discuss leadership and politics, you come from ODM, so there's no way you sit here as an ODM member and you don't bring Raila Odinga.
When you mentioned, there's only one.
You see, and you see, we have to put it in place because you're here for ODM. If you had come from another party, we would have asked them what their party leader is doing. You see,
but we only have one party leader movement. That's Raila Odinga.
That is according to you. That is according to you. We will not be here
unless we be challenged by someone which will be sooner. We will have you the panel again with another person.
Why I will bring him up is because we know the politics of Kenya, and as I've told you, we cannot take it away. That the freedom of speech and a number of things that we enjoy. I don't like castigating. I don't like just saying negative things for the sake of name or to be popular. As a channel, of course, we have the responsibility to our viewers and everybody else to put the truth out there. 2010 Constitution, we must agree. Even the right to protest and the many benefits we enjoy today that come from the Constitution, Raila Odinga has fought for them. That we cannot negate.
Take it away
you
from
understand?
him.
It is him that will never be taken away from him. Well, I don't believe in the politics of hatred, whereby even if somebody has done something good, just because you hate him, you decide to overlook the good things he has done. But you see now, in spirit of the same constitution, the constitution he fought for has a number of good things which this government has deliberately ignored and overlooked. And you see now why I put to task is because now him, the very person who fought for the constitution, through his political party has formed a broad-based government with the ruling government. And that is why we ask them, Mzee, you fought for this. Now you've gone to bed with this government. So now that you're with this person, why are families still crying on the issues of femicide? The other day is when I have seen the president appointing a CS for gender. The position has been vacant for very
Those are the
long.
advices we are offering
And
there.
I'm asking, and sorry to say, I am asking, the wife of the late senator for Baringo, Mrs. Cheptumo, has since been given that position. So again, you are talking about rewards. So that does not sound like a reward.
I think first.
Can't you just advise the president? And I'm not questioning her competence. No, I'm just wait. I'm not questioning her competence. She might be competent enough to do it. But the question is, now that you're in with this guy, broad-based government, you've said Raila Odinga is advising. Why, if he's advising and the president said, I am working with him, why aren't we seeing the change?
Okay. Raila Odinga from AUC, I think today is less than 4 months, if I'm not wrong. No, 2 months. 2 months. Meaning his advisory that has been offered to the state of the president has been there maybe for now 2 months. Personally, from our end, from the youth league and my fellow youths in the country, we are waiting to see a lot because the advisor may advise the advisee, but now it's the president upon president to choose, implement the advices that is being given by Raila or to ignore. That is one. You may advise him, but what if he fails to implement? So I think at the end of the day, the bus stops by the president. The other end
stops with him.
It stops with him. That's one. Second, on the rewards as you're putting it, I think when you may say, for quite a long time you have never earned the gender.
The CS gender.
The CS, yeah. So I think these are some of the loopholes that, with Raila Odinga coming in and the ODM party talking with the government of the day, there are these people that can be fixed. Tukianza pale nyuma nilisema, and we can check it again, that can we fix these things from within? Because for quite a long time, so can we try to fix this country from within? And if possible again, can we be able to not only complain but offer solutions patriotically for our country? We don't have any other country we are going to run away from. We have said that abduction must stop. Those things that we don't even need to negotiate about.
They don't even need
there
to
are things we don't need to talk about here. In fact, when during the morning when I was checking the EFF from South Africa protesting, the police escorts them protesting. Why must you? And it's a right. Why must you beat them, tear gas them unnecessarily? And they're armless. They only have placards. They only have water. There's nothing. That is one. Why must we have young people, the young ladies, the famous thing, young ladies disappearing and reappearing in casket? It's so unfortunate.
In the body parts.
And body parts.
And we are told there's a gender working group.
So that is something that needs a overhaul and turnaround. To me today, I think that things, in as much as we are here, we don't need to discuss them, sincerely speaking. And we wait for this government of the day. It will not be about who was with who. It will be about, did you implement? Did you do the rightful? I know 2027, Vijana and other patriots will be out on the ballot to vote. So the next 2 years will determine the place of the government of the day. And we must agree there. Another thing that we must also agree on, respectfully, this party, ODM, I think today it is not the longest because we have KANU and those other political parties, but for the past 20 years has been the most vibrant party in the country since its interception in 2005. And it has been known for, as we are putting it, for being on the street, the protest, standing against the oppressive, not the government, but the oppressive agenda that may come from the government. Because no,
they've been mtetezi wa wanyonge.
So
that's how they've portrayed themselves.
Not coaching, but that's what we have been.
That's what we stand for.
That's what we stand for. Even on our documents, on our deals, and so on. So maybe today, coming into term with William Samoei Ruto and this UDA party, it appears like it was a bad, dark marriage to a number of Kenyans and young people who may fail to understand it. At sisi pale, not all of us at first were agreeing with the working relationship of the party ODM and the UDA. That is one. But again, at the end of the day, my individual views may not surpass the party position. And the old knows the way, but we the young have the energy to walk on that way. We might just find a way how we are going to work with these veterans, the seasoned leaders that we have been having in the country, to show us the way forward with our energy, moderated in it. Nikimalizia hiyo part tu kidogo. Hii chama yetu ya chungwa is still pro people. Maybe at some point may appear unpopular decision, but let me put it in this. We remember when Raila Odinga joined and with the KANU, that is then it was NDP, and was made the SG for the KANU. In 2002, when Baba walked out of KANU, that was the scrambling and the end of KANU regime. I don't know whether the playbook may be played again, so we never know. We say it's a Gwambo, it's mysterious one. We know
No one knows his moves. No one knows his moves.
Agwambo means mysterious. Agwambo is mysterious.
Okay.
Now in Kizungu.
Oh, in Kizungu.
In Kizungu.
But in
the Luo is Agwambo.
Okay.
So Agwambo, in the mysterious one, we never know. Politics is very dynamical. So and that's why the other day Baba said, in Kiambu, we're telling William that you have a job to do, you have assignment to deliver here. If he couple 2027, we look on that scorecard as a party and as a people of Kenya.
Partners in broad-based government.
Nimesema hapo vizuri. Tutaangalia kama chama cha ODM that have we delivered. They promised on better. You people remember
so
better?
You have donated in people, but come 2027.
Yes, exactly. Even those ones who, if they fail to deliver, even those ones who they fail to deliver, at the end of the day, we want service to be delivered.
But as you audit him,
we audit
and
him with the people.
And the service delivery does not meet the threshold.
The threshold of whatever is needed.
So won't you be part of the blame because you have donated in part of your people? And so if he hasn't performed, it is inclusive of your donations.
The donation that you gave.
We are expecting that the ones that we have given him and I think for the past after our 5 donations, William talked to the 4th president, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, and we also saw there were other appointments and something in the cabinet where Mtai came in. We had Likinyanjui,
the likes of Kabogo.
Nobody talks about them yet. Yeah. It's okay. No, is it lazima watu waongelee. No. So we are expecting that even after the reshuffling, because William have been trying to, I think when he came into power, he was not having a plan.
And that's the next
so
question.
So we're waiting to see all the reshuffling these guys have been trying to bring on board. We don't know the side that they are going to stand on. We as ODM party are still the minority party in both houses, and we're still having our identity as the, let me put it in quote, as opposition as well. Still. But we must agree that if they fail, despite where they are standing, we want service delivery. We are not here to sugarcoat them, massage them.
So for that now the individuals will be questions, not the party.
No, those are individuals, not the party.
So now don't know the party. But these individuals are still in the very, very party.
No,
and they're also having a say in the very, very party.
No. Let me put this clear. When George met John Mbadi, the 3, they were on the top rank leadership of the party. When Joe left, Oparanya left, they resigned, and the positions were taken by Simbarat, you remember, Nasir wa Mombasa, and then also had Joshua Swords. And then Wanga stepped in where Mbadi was as the party chairperson. So they resigned from the party and even the party position. They couldn't serve the government of the day and still remain members of the ODM. I'll tell you again a good example of my brother.
They resigned in party positions, or they resigned in party and positions at the party as well?
You can be a party member and still serve the government. But you can't be.
No, we needed that.
And that is what we want.
We needed a clarification that they have just resigned from their position and remain.
They are party members.
Okay.
They are party members.
Okay.
But again, we must argue that today they don't have a say in the party because they are not in the party leadership. They are not in the party leadership. Joe is not having a say in the party. John Mbadi is not having a say. He's one who's the party chairperson. It is today Simbarati is the deputy party leader. It's today Nasir and
Ososi.
So these are the people who are today on the top rank leadership who decides and gives the directives from the party. Not those people. They resign from their party position. I was giving an example of my brother, the appointee PS Fikirini. Jacobs. He's a party member, yes. But the other side is going to serve the people of Kenya patriotically.
Yeah.
So I doubt if there's any problem. Someone belonging to a political party, it's their democratic right. Belonging to a political party and serving the government. I doubt kama kuna shida. Sidani.
Now, to cool down your tempers because no, let me ask you, generally,
yes.
there was a Gen Z movement, and from the Gen Z movement, initially it was tribalist, partyless, leaderless,
and whatever.
But we've seen an upsurge in a lot of tribalism, tribal anecdotes, and war drums being beaten left, right, and center. What are your thoughts about that?
I want to be very sincere with you, people, that all politics are local. This one I've said time and time again. I'm not fearing it even here. Let me use, I always use the example of the most mature democracy in the world, that is the USA. When they're going for the politics and the election, they always go aligned on the skin of your color.
The race card.
The race card. Here at home, we are subdivided or segregated into the tribal thing. At the end of the day, I fall into a tribe, and it's not a mistake. That's one. And during the Gen Z, I think the state, I'll put it this way, the state tried cards four. First, during the Gen Z, kuna ile ilikuja the rich and the poor. That failed because we have never been divided on that line. I think William tried it with the Hustler versus them, and what for him during the election, the dynasty and the Hustlers. But during the Gen Z, that one failed. Then they brought the religion one. Vijana wanaandamana ni wa Illuminati. I remember tuliitwa vijana wa Illuminati. Wanabudu mashetani. Hiyo pia ikafeli. And then there was another one, which one again? They were around four. But the one that have worked perfectly, not only for disseminating this thing, putting it into cool, is the tribal one. At the end of the day, you must agree that 2027, if in a smart that may be enlightened politically, today we don't have a party apart from Modi that is trying to build party on a proper ideological ground. But I can say that we stand for this and this and this. You
have 90 registered political parties.
Yeah,
for a party to be registered, there has to be the representation of diversity.
Yeah. Countrywide.
Yeah, countrywide.
So that is one.
So all those parties have that.
Yeah, they have it. I've talked about ideology.
They all have ideologies. Otherwise,
that is why they were registered.
The registrar can't register you. But just tell me, what I want is your feeling.
Yeah, my feeling. That's what I'm giving. Okay, that's what I'm giving. And I didn't also agree with me, maybe Kidogo too. On the same, that the party list thing was undoing to the Gen Z movement, which I was part of, because we can't capture state power.
So you were part of the movement while you were still in ODM?
Exactly. Members of ODM on the street.
Okay.
That was a generational call.
Okay.
That was my generational
So you answered to your generation.
Exactly.
Not to your party.
Not to your
ideology.
Nyinyi mnanichanganya jameni. So some Gen Z pale kuna mwenye alikuwa na chama.
They were party.
No.
Leaderless, partyless.
I know a number of those people there. So acha sasa ni assume sasa wenye walikuwa pale wako na tribe.
We are Kenyans.
Like they were Kenyans.
In fact,
now.
it is our tribe. Even as we sit here,
people,
it is our tribe.
People like yourself.
People like yourself.
No, people like
Let me
yourself.
finish.
No.
It is our tribe that makes Kenya beautiful.
Exactly.
That is the diversity.
Exactly.
Diversity.
That's the same thing. Very, very please. You are asking me a question. Allow me to answer this question. Being partyless was biggest undoing on the master agree. When they were saying they are partyless and they were not organized, they couldn't capture state power. That's why Raila Odinga have to step up for power not to go to the military. Nakurudi hapo. When they were on the street, people were saying that they were tribeless. Were they tribeless? They were not tribeless. It's the same thing. They were saying they're partyless.
They were a country.
They were tribeless as a movement because the movement it encompassed of people from different communities. So as we are seated in this room, we are people from different communities.
I'm not tribeless.
No, you don't have individually. You are not tribeless, but as a whole,
we are Kenyans.
If you're 5 people from 5 different communities.
Niko na wajibu. Mkanichanganya hapa. Mkasema
No, you're talking about the Gen Z movement. And you're castigating them and you are part of it.
I'm part of it. That's najibu. I'm answering from what I've been part. You see this.
So you didn't agree with some of the ideologies.
Acha nijibu please. Sinijibu.
Okay.
The thing is, in fact, when we're talking about in the Gen Z, I was a member and among the National Coordination Committee Let me tell you now. This thing I've never said.
Gen Z had a committee.
Sina kujibu. Kuna kitu Kassim aliongelea that he was spokesperson. Kama mnakumbuka alikuwa na spokesperson ya nini?
And they refused.
Acha nimalize.
The rest refused.
Acha nimalize. Alikuwa spokesperson ya nini? We were with him there. That is one. When the Gen Zs were out on the street, they were out on a purpose. All these things we don't talk about tribeless, partyless, leaderless. I can't be leaderless. We can't be leaderless. That is we are not narcissist, but that one we are. And it makes sense. You can't be leaderless. Even in the house, you must have. Let's be realistic. But the thing is that we must agree on is that the Gen Zs were out on a purpose. In fact, one thing that stood out clearly from the Gen Z movement was good governance. If we are supposed to talk about these are the things that we need to address, not just coming to discuss tribeless, leaderless, and partyless, which was the biggest, sometimes I think was the biggest undoing for that movement, for that rallying call. And this thing, ukiangalia today the British lower house, they have the youngest I think crown of leaders today in that house, but they are getting it clear because they are belonging to political party. They're organized
in the House of Commons.
In the House of the Commons, they're organized. So same to the country here. You can say that you want to get into the parliament and you're leaderless. You can say that you want to get into the parliament today and you're partyless. How will it can't work out? It can't work out.
So your feeling is there needs to be a party.
You must be organized. No matter try to register a party. Inject. It was only mine and WhatsApp.
As it was on your line or on X.
We would love to watch Monana commercial for you to
yeah. So again, we will agree with him that even the Gen Zs felt that they need to belong to political party. That's, I think after the Gen Z movement, we have seen a number of people trying to register political parties. We must
of which we have seen the legislative at least is it 26 provisional certificates?
Yeah, 26. So that shows Perry that they agreed that we ought to belong to a political party. And we can't have a political party without having a leader. So we must have a leader, we can't be leaderless. But your party tribeless, I'll agree, it is good, yes, for a proper campaign. But can we have our state diversified? But on the leadership, we have things done. Like when you're going to prosecute,
we appreciate our diversity.
Yeah. Exactly. When a good example, like today, if you're going to prosecute me, I don't need to tag my tribe because
we judged for your actions, and not your community.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's some of the things that even the Gen Zs themselves, me personally, I was on the street, yes, and I've been on the street, but then I was in a political party. And when I said that was a generational conversation, a generational call, it was my generation. I think tukianza pia pale nyuma, we remember Alisa, I think the name, like something like that, that Baba Kanyumbani, something like that.
Yeah, the young lady who said, Baba, you are for Kenya.
You remember, I think after 1 week, the lady tried to register something political party and so on. Then if I can
remember she was castigated.
Alijaribu sana, she registered political party, because they also felt like we need to belong to a political party of our own. But again, me today, why am I falling in ODM? Why am I in a political party? That's I think the question that, why are you in a political party? The reason is we need to organize ourselves properly if we truly need to capture power as a generation. But again, we can't capture power on a generation, yes. But now the old people were ended. Not all of them are bad. We know that those have been trying to do their best. A good example later when we touch up one of our the SG of the ODM party who have stood, who have outstand that he believes in something that the party believes into, and those are some of the principles that me as Commissar Jaredo here I also believe in. We are not cows. There are things that sometimes we question. We are not pushovers. There are things that we need to, like from ODM Youth League, need to, it is a semi-autonomous organization within the party. So we can sit down and discuss and also give our deliberation to our president who sits in the Central Management Committee and all other organs. That this is what the youth of the party are feeling. So we are not just pushovers that we are there to club, we are not just there to be pushed, we are not just there to escort. We are here to also have the divergent opinions and thoughts captured in the party.
Now, let me ask you a question. I'm very glad you said that. And you're not focusing on ODM. Now, this is for you as a leader in youth. You live in Nairobi. You mentioned Karen Ward and everything. The governor for Nairobi, Sakaja, he's elected. He's an UDA elected governor. I saw party leader preferring him, your party leader Raila Odinga, saying niko na kijana for 2027. But that notwithstanding, what is your take? Do you think the governor has performed?
Governor Sakaja haven't performed as was expected, and we'll agree that I work, it's not working.
And if it's not working, and
Raila
Odinga stands for why would he prefer him?
So see, let me give you umeniuliza kama mimi ni mkaji wa Nairobi, hata mimi ni mwanachama wa ODM. Nikisema pale mwanzo that there are things that we may disagree with respectfully. Okay. Like today, the governor Sakaja in Nairobi will say that this thing's not working. As you see, I work. This thing's not working. In fact, even some of the toilets in City Hall they're not even working. You can't even flush them. It's not working. Leave alone upper downtown. So it's not working. That is one. Second, Baba have not endorsed Sakaja. I think that day we had the prayers at the Bomas. It was Silas prayer. Then he was going for
the women were praying for him as well.
Yeah, I was at Bomas that day as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so even when we were talking there, I was there physically one-on-one. There was no endorsement that he has been endorsed. Again, besides that, we have qualified ODMers.
So what did he do?
Let me ask you.
We have qualified ODMers or ODM members who are capable to run Nairobi. We have Team Wanyonyi, we have Babu Wino. Those are the two of shown interest for Nairobi. And when the time comes for our party, I'm pretty sure we'll do the nomination and give the county one of them, either Team or Babu Wino, from the party position. Okay. That's the other guy, the current governor is from UDA, and we are the majority ODM party in the
as
assembly,
MCAs,
in the assembly.
Yeah.
But I at some point to feel like, are they doing proper oversight? I'm talking as Nairobian now. Are they doing proper oversight to the governor? To the governor? Or what is happening? Are they answerable? Are they answerable to their constituents on what is happening?
Do you ever have a question then?
Today I was with my MC and we sat down on Anthony Mara, and he was also giving me an overview of things that are happening. Okay. And I'll tell you, even the MCs themselves, some of them are so dissatisfied on how the executive part of government of Nairobi, of county government of Nairobi is doing their things. I'll tell you that at some point they are not even like I think for the past 2 years we don't have the county bursary. Those are some things we are asking. Why is the governor holding this money? And for that, where does he now take this money to?
Dish in account.
Dish in account yenyewe bro. Tusidanganyane. Na machapati nini?
Chapati milioni moja. Chapati milioni zinataka. So it's not working. To you it's not working.
It's not working, and even I'll tell you, even from some number of MCs in the Nairobi, if it's not working.
Is impeachment an option? ODM has senator, ODM has women rep, ODM has MCAs, and it is not working.
It's not working.
Why is
impeachment? I may not talk about that. I mean, talk about the impeachment if it can be an option
or not.
And I mean, talk about that. I reserve my reservation on that because, again, if you have the leadership, yes, there's a time that I think it was threatened for impeachment and so on. We remember.
And the things were calmed down very fast. We saw a press briefing by night, and all the jitters
so there are things that maybe I may not address at my capacity today.
But there's dissatisfaction in Nairobi.
That's what you agree with.
I agree.
You agree?
Even in the country.
It is not working.
Even in the country, not only Nairobi, things are not working.
Things are not working.
You know, at some point, when we talk about the party position, then now come talk on the governance and service delivery. We have been receiving very little. I think in 2 years, let me talk about this on 2 countries. Our country, Kenya, when Kibaki came in, we saw in 100 days what he was doing. Because Alingia and Ampang, he had a plan, and then he had a team which was ready to deliver. As we've been reading it in history, I think then I was very young. And then I can give a good example of good captain Thomas, not Thomas, but Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. In the short time that he has been in office, we have seen the things he has been doing.
Very
we can also just come here to Tanzania. When Magufuli came in the office, in that short time, he had a plan. So in as much that maybe you want to say, no, there's this side and so on, there are things Perry and Alan which are not working. And that's why hapo nimesema nitarudia tena 2027 we'll have to look at that scorecard. Accountability. We're on the street now. We never left the street that we were cowards, but we left the street because we are peaceful. We are not cowards. Being peaceful means that we have the capability and capacity of causing unity anytime. So we called up and say maybe we'll come back later. But again, we need to protest. Ruto must go as they put it. If he must go, he'll have to go. 2032 or 2027. At the end of the day, you'll not be there forever.
If you must go, you must go.
You must go. You have to go.
Say,
Come
no, let me ask you,
Not stay
generally,
forever.
aside from politics, we aim to get to a number of other countries, in terms of infrastructure, sports, and everything. I must say, Kenya is one of those countries. I know weekend is coming up. People watch a lot of sports. And what is your feeling? Do you think, as a country, we are doing enough to boost other sectors of this country, be it agricultural, sports, infrastructure? Are we doing enough as a country?
Perry, let me start with the sport. Then we had the FKF, it was led by Nick Mwendwa. But when Nick left, they have Hussein and Mariga. And I'm pretty sure this team is promising. We have seen during the Harambee Stars game.
That is in terms of football.
On football, football. They're doing the Harambee Stars and using Mashimeji. We have seen Wakenya wanapenda ball. Wamerudi kiwanjani. And it's a good show that this team, and again, we also had the report that under 20 are going to have a game. I think
that is on Tuesday.
On Tuesday, and we are seeing the preparation.
There's a game that is on tomorrow. That is at 17 for girls and the senior. They both have a game on Friday. They also have a game still in Ivory Coast. They also having a game on Monday. Monday, the girls, the under 17 girls will be having them on Tuesday. The mature, the senior team. Senior team ladies will have, yes. Let me call them mature. Then the under 17 boys will also be having a match. Of which I would say the under 17 girls have done the best to put Kenya to a position, especially after winning the home and away against Uganda, then them going to the World Cup. So we are hoping that they'll be in the next World Cup again. The under 17 boys, it's the future team for now. For
under 17 under 20.
That is under 17.
I'm not sure which under.
That's under 17. Okay, you can call them under 20. It's still okay. It's still okay, no problem.
They're the same boys.
That
is good.
More or less,
They are playing good. They are more or less. Like we are looking onto them as the future Harambee Stars that will shake the world.
But what is your feeling in terms of, are we doing enough sports?
Okay, I think for offices,
okay, you focus on football.
I'm just saying football because that's the measure of many people of football. Athlete, you have been performing. Me and the bowler, I'm a player, yes.
Oh wow,
I'm a player. I also play racket, so that is badminton. And little chess. But as a country, I think football as for a long time was neglected, and that's why I don't want to talk about these other ones because athletes have been performing.
Have we though?
Rugby again.
Olympics.
Rugby again, I think.
Rugby they've improved.
Rugby
the ladies, I've seen the ladies.
If the ladies will perform vizuri, hizi pia tumeona our match pale.
Ni under 15. Ni 15
no, under 7. Hata even our team though we had little mistakes, but
some
the team is doing good.
And the challenges, leadership.
So me, so far so good. I trust the leadership on our sport. Though many other sectors zingine. Itakuja kwa labor.
But we want to focus on football. In terms of sports, you sport.
No, that I was saying that was like an example. Yeah.
So you're in a come up.
In a come up, yeah. Because I was coming to labor as a country in another sector. That's why we're also performing poorly as a country. We export labor back like slavery. Where Dr. Alfred Mutua, where he sits, then he was taking young people to the country.
People were interviewed.
Oh my God. That thing you know? I feel bad. Like, does it make sense?
Of course, it doesn't make any sense. And before you answer that, the same from the UDA, whatever they were promising us, they never promised us that they'll export jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they export us to go get jobs. They said they will create
jobs at home. So you see, when it comes to labor, labor is this automatically is now attached to industrialization and agriculture. Because if you take the young energy out from the center of the economy, center of the economy, obviously we're going to affect many sectors. That's why I've come to that one direct on labor. Because a country that exports labor, takes their young people out of that country, the industrialization is affected. Agricultural sector is affected.
And our professionals
are affected because this guy is an engineer unampeleka pale kama nani. Like seriously, hotel waiter. So this one again, our population is threatened as well because nani ataza kitu cha kwanza, kitu cha pili hao watawapa kwa nchi watawa leni. So okay. Sasa ukwanga ndakuwa huku Saudi Arabia kwa kukupea waongi. Ndio. What is home? So that's one. So the labor, we are performing we're performing poorly. That's worse. And then which other sector industrialization? Where it's also unfortunate. And let me use the one that President used the other day in Madari. We talk about chapati. In a country as Kenya, a cultural country, agriculture is our backbone. Backbone of our economy. When I was in primary, we taught that. Only to date. So instead of the head of state addressing the wheat farmers, is addressing the chapati rollers.
The final product.
So unfortunate. So our agricultural sector, the coffee farmers are crying. The other day, the sugarcane farmers. I'm from the sugar belt, by the way. We no longer see the fields. Now I know we are exporting a lot of sugar and repacking them. That's the reality. Let's not lie to ourselves.
I see Mumia's sugar on the shelves. But the factory is
not there.
And the production. So I asked myself, what is kept? So what is kept doing? Because I'm seeing packaging from a factory that is not running.
Now that is why I wanted to come and ask you the final question as we seal it. You said you're a politician.
He is a politician.
What's the difference between a politician and a leader?
We have leaders who are politicians, and we have politicians who are leaders.
You've not defined.
No,
His version. Let him
okay.
No, Alan attack to skate king and
not really. No, you're communicating to these people who are listening.
Let him speak. Wacha tuambie version yake.
Version yangu. A politician can be a leader. Acha nianze hivyo, mtanisikiza tu. A politician can be a leader, and a leader may not be a politician. And I may also use maybe examples for me to have a better definition of it. I don't want to use a lot of words around.
Okay.
Let me use a country, a president, here at home or outside. Give me. Here at home or outside the country. Let me use the at home.
In which context?
Leadership, a leader who's a politician, and a politician can be a leader.
You've not defined what's
no, I've said.
That's why he wants to use example.
I've said I want to use example for our viewers. I don't want to use a lot of English.
Traore.
Let me use at home.
Oh, use at home.
Let me use governor.
Wow. You are governor from Homa Bay.
Let me I don't
use Babuina.
No, I don't use Babuina. I want to use governor.
Use former governor. This guy like Banyangapu.
Kijana no. Anaitwa nani?
Governor from which country?
No. Kangata wa Mabarua. Let me use Kangata. Irungu Kangata. Irungu Kangata to me is a leader who's made a politician, and we can see what he's doing. In fact, it's a good example that we want to even use. Instead of using Traore there, we use Governor Kangata. In 2 years, what he has done for Watua?
Muranga.
That if you have a good leader, you can have the services delivered. So that's a leader. A politician is our president.
But he's the leader of the country. He's the leader of the country. You see, he's the leader of the country.
So I was putting it. Let me use another example, but hiyo itachanganya watu. Sasa Kangata itaeleweka. A leader who is a politician, Kangata, what he has done. And in fact, another good one is Governor Paranya then. No,
you said then.
No,
not now.
Governor. It's not a governor. Governor Paranya then in Kakamega, how he performed the first phases of the first 10 years of the devolution. How Kakamega was and what he did then. He was a leader in that count that people felt what he did. If you compare him with now, my governor then, Awiti, Jamaweko, the one who's dancing.
Cyprian
Awiti. Awiti was good on the mic, will dance, make people laugh, but on delivery as a leader, no. Now let me define it in Kizungu, vitu mingi. Kizungu, in terms.
Yes, sir. Tell us.
Professor.
A leader influences people to do the right things and influences people to influence what to do the right thing or show the way for the people. When Musa led the Israelites, he was leading them. He was not governing them. You get? He was leading them into a promised land, and that's what a leader is. A leader leads and shows people, inspires them, even when they're turning against you at some point. You remember when they turned against Musa? Yes. It just still had a way of consolidating the Israelites that I'm going to lead you into that promised land.
Yeah.
He was resilient with them. He could persevere the hardship that was going through just for them. A politician now is this person. Now can put it, because a politician can be a leader, but a leader may fail to be a politician. No, a politician may fail. No, a politician may fail to be a leader. You get? A politician may fail to be a leader.
That I agree.
Yeah, a politician may
For
fail.
Kenya, we have many
You
politicians
have
many
many
who
politicians
are
that
not
leaders.
leaders. Yes,
Exactly.
I agree.
I don't know if it would be bad if I use an example of someone.
It's
No,
your-
it's your definition.
opinion.
It's
Yeah.
your opinion. and
So
definition.
maybe I can use an example of a politician who is not a leader. Karen Nyamu. Karen Nyamu is one of the worst that I've ever had. In
Please
fact,
also add a man for the sake of
No,
gender
gender
balance.
balance.
For the sake of gender balance.
Karen Nyamu, even a recent sentiment wakiwa pale na rais, like unauliza huu ni kiongozi aina gani? So that's a politician. Anaweza ongea kwa mic nini and so on, influence, but politician may influence, yes,
But
but
there's no
they may not
leadership.
lead. There's
There's
no
no
leadership. And the leadership again at some point to me I feel is chosen by God. But again, we ask ourselves, did God choose the wrong leaders? He did at some point.
I think in Kenya, the greatest challenge is when you say leadership, people only see it political.
No.
But you see, leadership can be political or corporate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you see why we're also suffering is the way you said it. We bestow leadership onto politicians,
Yeah.
and they end up not delivering.
Delivering.
So we are complaining because we bestowed leadership onto people who are politicking.
Yeah.
You see, a leader can be a politician, as you've put it, but a
Yeah.
politician cannot be a
be a
leader.
leader.
And so because we've put leadership onto politicians, then they end up putting their cronies at corporate level. And that is why even our parastatals and other entities are not working in this country.
Yeah.
Because I've also seen the president revoking KCC board. Look at all the parastatals. You see, the maize boards.
Yeah.
All these parastatals we have are not working
Yeah.
because we have people who are not leaders, but they were put there by their political cronies, whom Kenyans assumed to be leaders, and that is the challenge.
And again,
we
they're not put there on merit.
And that is what we say. They are the wrong people on the right seats,
Yeah.
or the right people on the wrong seats, because
Yes.
there is the issue of awarding. So
Yeah.
we are agreeing that in Kenya, generally, we have very few leaders and very many politicians.
True.
So Kenyans, when it comes to 2027 elections, then we need to put leaders, not
Into the offices.
And on
So
the
the-
same vibe,
Yeah.
now as we are winding up, what would be your word, your last word?
My last one. I just want to talk my generation. But I love how we have our political consciousness as a generation. Though we are being quoted Gen Z, yes, but there are those who are millennials, there are those who are Gen Zs, but I think today Gen Z is not on edge. I think it should be on ability. My peers and my generation, we need to consolidate ourselves properly and at least join a political party. For those who are looking forward to be elected 2027, we can't be elected on independent ticket. It's very expensive, I tell you. And then again, maybe you have a party, it gives you a little leeway, maybe some sponsorship and so on. It becomes very easy. But again, align yourself with the party that you believe in, not just any other party. That is one to my generation. Second, in 2027, young people. We are only 2 years shy away from election. We must do things right, even in the absence of anybody watching over you. And 2027 will be on the ballot. There are those who are on the ballot to be elected, but there are those, all of us will be on the ballot to elect leaders. We know that voter apathy maybe was there in 2022, but looking forward for 2027,
would it happen again?
I'm pretty sure it will not happen. These young people will come out to vote. But now to vote who? These young people must. If we can't join a political party today, register a political party again in the country, it has been done by the state. It's very difficult and expensive. So we were seeing them to occupy. I'll tell you, in the ODM where we are the minority, but outside here we are the majority. If today we could have joined that ODM youth ODM party, we can turn things right from within. That's my thought. If we have numbers are strength. If you have numbers in there, we can do things greatly right away. And we occupy. We never stop occupying. Today we need to occupy these political parties and own the narrative and influence the policies, influence the ideologies of those parties. The ones which are wrong, we can discard. Yeah.
Thank you, Jared. That was really good. I believe next time I would really love to hear your thoughts on the reconstitution of IEBC.
That is delaying.
Where we've had a lot of Gen Z.
Yeah.
I have seen all the people who are being fronted there.
Yeah. In fact, let me tell you, Perry, I think I'm among the few. I think I've been on the forefront still when I'm on the radio, but I see people put it, agitating for young people to be commissioners. Because again, we must oversee how this election is going to be run. We said yes, they were saying for the chair, the 35 years experience on that looks automatically as a young person. But we can have a young person as a commissioner. But from our agitation that we had one man who was shortlisted to be a commissioner. We wait to see for his interview. We are so full that he will be given that chance to be among the commissioners for the IEBC. We are on the radar. Tuko macho sana, tunaangalia kila mahali. So even in the political parties, nikisema pale nyuma, ukiingia pale seti sasa wewe umenyamazishwa, you can still talk and push the agenda of your generation. Those who have done their part. If they have, don't want to blame that young, those old people. I just want to do my part.
Okay.
I want to live my purpose.
Okay.
And it's so amazing that we've heard from you, and this is not the last time we'll be having you here, because there are very many things we've not talked about today. Just matter of we have to wachia wale tuuze vitu mbili tatu hapa tuone vile mambo itaenda. So a commercial break, but doesn't mean that bro. Okay, thank you so much, Jared.
Oh yeah. ODM
Thank you
Youth
so much, Jared. Oh yeah, the ODM Youth League, that is nationwide. ODM Youth League, and aspiring MCA or
Not they aspiring ODM Youth League leadership.
okay.
Mimi nataka kujenga tujenge hiyo chama, vijana waongee pale chama. Alafu tusema kwenda mahali sasa tukiamua. Penye tunaenda. Tuko na force but kuna numbers.
Okay, we wish you all the best.
Yeah, we wish you all the
We wish
best,
you all
and
the
we'll be
best.
glad to have you now. Even before you have you as once you become the youth league leader and all that, we still have you before you get to that.
We look forward to
We
more
look forward to
conversations.
I'll be here.
conversations on the
We
same.
look
I want to
forward
make
to
this a home.
that
Yes.
passion.
But,
That
yeah,
passion.
we love the fire in you. We love the fire in you, and
I want to make this a home.
we want you to communicate to Kenyans.
Yeah.
We want you to tell Kenyans what they're supposed to do. And for now, we call it not the end, but a break. Until next time we meet, same place, same time. Kindly make sure you subscribe and share this. Let every person outside there get it right. And that is why we're here. How can you know unless we explain these things to you? And we always bring the best of the best to make sure that they're giving you facts. We don't talk about myths. No, we don't talk about myths. We talk about facts.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is it for today. Until next time we meet.
Again.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Roasting me.